What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of review for Attack on Titan, the final season. This is episode 6, and with me as always I have Bluespig.
Actually, I think this is episode 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, episode 7.
Yeah, technically the overall episode is 66. Right. But this is technically the 7th episode of this season. But yeah, so we haven't had a chance to talk about this last week, but apparently there was a lot of criticism being directed toward the animation style for last week's episode.
I don't know if it was so much the animation style rather than just the overuse of CG. A lot.
That's pretty much what it was. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it got totally overblown in my opinion. I mean, there's certain reasons as to why MAPPA had to animate that episode the way that they did. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were a variety of factors to consider. I mean, for one, like MAPPA just got this anime series like a year after Studio Wit stopped doing theirs after the 3rd season, and not to mention that MAPPA's working under a pandemic, and then they're working on I think maybe 2 or 3 other anime series, like Jujutsu Kaisen being one of them. I think there's another one I can't remember.
Chainsaw Man.
Oh, yeah, Chainsaw Man. I think there was another one. I think it was Zombieland Saga. I think was another one.
I know there was apparently going to be another season of Zombieland Saga, but I don't know if it came out yet.
It still hasn't come out yet, but I think they might be still working on that. But yeah, but honestly, like, I don't. Most of those criticisms aren't really warranted. Most of them are just like directed at people who are not responsible for the production of that episode, and like death threats for one thing is not okay, of course.
I feel like people have just been spoiled by Studio Wit's animation for the past 3 seasons, and they also forget that Studio Wit had plenty of time to work on those seasons too, and it was not really the same situation as Studio MAPPA. People were basically making comparisons between this and stuff like Demon Slayer and other shows where it wasn't really the same situation, people also conveniently forget that Studio Wit has also had moments of not very good animation and, CG in particular with the Colossal Titan in the past 2 seasons. That in particular looked pretty bad. Honestly, I would argue that the CG that MAPPA has been using for the Titans at least to me, looks better than the CG they were using for the Colossal Titan in season 2 and 3. But yeah, like people need to not, I don't know why people think that it's going to solve anything by sending death threats to the people behind the show. They also need to understand that it's really the animators that are responsible for this, not like I should say the animators. It's not the animators' fault. It's the people really who are running the company, or who are like the heads of the company, and like the people up top are responsible for basically how things are basically more or less being run. It's not really on the animators. Yeah,
it's there's only so much that MAPPA can really do based on the amount of work they have, and not to mention the situation that Japan is currently in. I think they're in another lockdown for right now.
I heard they were.
So far, but so far it's like the work has so far remained consistent based on the animation quality they put out. For the past few weeks, including this episode, but yeah, so like picking up where the last episode left off, we see that the scouts are about to attack Porco and his Jaw Titan. However, like Zeke and Piek managed to come in and like back him up, and then it pretty much like gets into like a big standoff against like the members of the scouts and and of course the Warrior Titans. And at the same time, Eren is still having trouble trying to break through that crystal that Willie Tyber's sister is trapped in, because she's still technically in control, partly in control of the Warhammer Titan, but you know, like because Erin like severed her connection to the Warhammer Titan, she's limited as to what she can do at this point.
Yeah, she does eventually manage to like reform herself and impale Aaron with spikes again.
But unfortunately, that's, like I said, that's as much as she can do. And then Aaron is able to eject himself out of his out of his damaged form, and then somehow can immediately just reform another Titan soon after that. Yeah,
I guess Aaron must have, during the time skip, become much more adept with being able to just transform. It doesn't seem like he become like, 'cause I think if we remember, like in the previous season, Aaron seems to have become fatigued, or they can't easily transform again after he'd already transformed into his Titan. But yeah, I guess this time he just he's able to just immediately transform right after. Yeah, basically it seems like Aaron is pretty much more adept now at being able to transform back into his Titan form immediately after having been in his Titan form already. Because like I was saying, from the previous 2 seasons, it seemed like he wouldn't have been able to do that as easily. So I guess it makes sense, considering there was the time skip. So he probably learned how to more skillfully be able to do that.
Yeah, and pretty much like he's an expert at trying to crystallize portions of his body from being attacked at certain the weak points of his nape, I guess.
Yeah.
But pretty much majority of this episode transitions from one area to another. Like we see one scene with with Levi going up against Zeke's Beast Titan, and then we see other members of the Scouts or the Survey Corps just trying to take down Pick and her and pretty much I guess the turn emplacement on her back. And I think
you also see a lot of the Survey Corps get wiped out by machine guns, just get turned into a bloody mist.
Yeah, the Survey Corps has trouble trying to even blast their rockets at the thing.
Yeah.
But not only just the turrets are keeping them from hitting her. It's just, of course, Porco and his Jaw Titan prevented that, and including with Zeke at the same time. But of course, with Levi distracting Zeke, and then I think I think Porco also got a little bit distracted by Misaka and Aaron as well, because he's more or less focused on trying to stop Aaron from consuming the Warhammer Titan. So that gives majority of the members of the Scout Survey Corps just to try to attack Pig herself. And then they wouldn't have gotten that opening if it wasn't for Sasha pretty much being the sharpshooter she is, just pretty much shoot through the turn emplacement and shooting a guy in the head.
Yeah, I think Levi actually manages to take Zeke down as well, because he he actually cuts through him, and then I think one of the I think one of the other scouts blows through his neck with the missiles.
It was Levi who planted a bomb on him.
So
and of course he fell right in front of both of Gabby and Falco. Well, speaking of Falco, before this, we find out that Falco and Braun survived. What was it? Aaron's transformation. I mean, but yeah, it's just he's Braun is pretty much. I don't know if he's he said. Falco said he's he's knocked out or unconscious, but it's more or less he just doesn't have the will to go on after after Reiner admits to Aaron that he I don't know, he feels regret about all of his actions that he done back on Paradise Island.
Yeah, it seems like he's pretty much given up. And it seems like I guess he used part of his armor Titan, he created a shell or something to protect Falco from Aaron's transformation. Because we kind of see what happens right when Aaron transforms.
Yeah, but like I said, like Ryan is pretty much out of commission for the remainder of this episode. Mm-hmm. So of course, Falco like runs out, and like I said, he runs back into Gabby. But well, back to that one scene where we talked about Zeke getting taken out. That seemed way too easy for him to just be taken out. Like I don't know, just Zeke like that.
Down pretty quick.
I mean, yeah, I mean it was difficult for like all this, just the Survey Corps to take him down. Well, it took like a whole battalion of like, of the Survey Corps, like, charging on horseback just to distract Zeke before Levi managed to take him down. But he just went down so easily in this one.
I guess you could also argue that they didn't really have the advantage they have now, because in that scenario, like, Zeke was surrounded by all the other Titans as well as some Titan shifters like the Car Titan, and he was also out in like an open field where the Survey Corps couldn't really like use their maneuver gear to get over to him, and they also didn't really have they didn't have all the artillery, the anti-Titan missiles that they have, so that I think that also made a difference.
Yeah, so. I guess you could say like
one other thing I should mention too is that when Zeke shows up too, he also says like I'm not after Aaron. I'm my main target is like Levi. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, because like he
pretty much now has just PTSD from like what happened, like what Levi did to him.
I mean Levi completely annihilated Zeke back back in the last season and nearly killed him at one point. But if it wasn't for Pieck saving at the last minute, then that would have happened. But yeah, like while this is going on, like Pieck, definitely gets taken out of commission after many members of the Scout Corps pretty much launched like a barrage of rockets at her, and then she just like it pretty much kills like the turret crew and all that, but she manages to barely survive, and you can see like she's barely healing from her wounds because I think Gabby states that her regenerative abilities are not as efficient as Reiner's is, or anybody else's.
Yeah. I was kind of, I'll be honest, I was kind of afraid for Sasha this whole episode because as we know from the last episode, it seemed in particular that Gabby might go after Sasha because of what happened, and she also it seemed like she was going to try to take revenge, but it also seems like, of course, her target is also Aaron because she wants to kill Aaron too.
Mm-hmm. And of course we transition to another area where we see like all these battleships forming around port, but then there's like this one little like sailboat like just swimming next to like one of the boats, and we find out that it's Armin, and he immediately just transforms into the Colossal Titan and just annihilates everything. Like
I should point this out
like
too.
all over the place.
I think it's funny that they actually they have not yet used CG for the Colossal Titan, as far as I can tell. And like it's interesting how they don't use CG for the Colossal Titan, but they've kind of used CG for most every other Titan. Whereas with Studio Wit, that's like, it seemed like that was the one Titan where they just used honestly kind of bad CG for. It was the Colossal Titan, at least after season 1. So I was, but yeah, we actually could see Armin's Colossal Titan, and I guess that was part of the plan, that Armin would basically transform there and basically cut off all their reinforcements before they could get on shore. So that was.
But of course, Armin does feel a bit of regret for doing what he did, because because he just
you see all the collateral damage he's caused.
Yeah, because he thinks back as to what happened if because like now he's in the same situation as Berthold was back when he destroyed their home back in the earlier seasons. But what was it? Armin releases a signal flare, which immediately brings an airship over to pick up the rest of the Survey Corps, and of course in that airship we see what was it? Hanji's piloting it.
I don't think she's piloting it. I think it was that other guy.
No, yeah, another guy. She's like commanding the ship as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so inevitably, like things get to the point where, well, actually, like Aaron is still fighting off, Porco's Jaw Titan, and in the process, he finds out that the Jaw Titan is strong enough to at least break the crystal that Willie Tiber's sister is like concealed in. Mm-hmm. And he uses that to advantage soon afterwards once Mikasa cuts off his legs, and then Aaron just immediately just tears off his arms and then uses his jaw to like just completely crush the crystal altogether, and then Aaron just gobbles up like whatever is remaining from all of that, and it looks like now he officially has the power of the Warhammer Titan.
Yeah, I mean, this scene just kind of emphasizes how ruthless Aaron has become. He's just he has no hesitation anymore about doing these things. He'll kill anybody that pretty much gets in his way. And he afterwards he was about to, of course, right after that, finish off the Jaw Titan as well.
But of course, soon afterwards, Reiner recovers from.
Yeah, before this too, like I think the main reason that he recovers is because both Gabby and Falco start shouting his name, and Reiner's just like, "Shut up! I want to just let me sleep." But he eventually transforms, I guess, supposedly just out of annoyance, because he's just like, "Let me die in peace."
Yeah,
so.
and I noticed like his armor Titan form, like his appearance is a little bit different than what it was before now.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed there are like some kind of spikes forming out of his arm too, and the facial appearance like is a bit different as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I kind of wonder if we're gonna get like an explanation for that. Like, it seems like it's sort of like an evolved form or something.
Probably.
I mean, Aaron's like, attack Titan does look a little bit different, but I think that's mostly just due to the art style change. So
yeah, I mean the facial appearance of the Colossal Titan is different too. I mean, well, it's only because Armin is controlling it now.
I mean, so it looks more like Armin.
But yeah, overall, it was a really great episode in my opinion. I think a little bit better, like animation wise, compared to the last one, because it's, thankfully they didn't use as much CGI mostly for the human characters compared to the Titan ones.
Yeah, I definitely think this was a huge step up from the last one. That I was a little bit. I mean, I will be honest, even though I don't think it was bad animation by any means in the last episode, I was also a little bit concerned that they were going to be using a little bit too much CG. I didn't want them to mainly rely on just CG for everything whenever there was a big action scene. But this episode was mainly like a lot of action scenes, and I was pleasantly surprised by how much they kind of went back to hand-drawn, some hand-drawn animation in between the CG, so it wasn't just, the whole thing was just CGI, which, is definitely a good thing. I definitely think, a lot of these people who are complaining were way overreacting about, the last episode. And I think I really kind of hope this episode makes them feel foolish, because it's like, you guys were wrong about thinking the whole thing was just going to go downhill from here or something in terms of the animation quality. It's like, I kind of had faith in MAPPA, because I've seen what they've done before. And I didn't think that they were really going to skimp out too much on the animation quality. I just think people were, like I said, just really overreacting about it. So, yeah, like I said, I just hope it makes them feel dumb, because it's like, I think this episode looked totally fine.
Yeah, I pretty much have more confidence in MAPPA now after what they put out so far in this season. I think I'm definitely looking forward to what's going to happen for the remainder of. I think we're on 9 more episodes left.
I think so.
This. Yeah, I mean, technically, 16 episodes isn't going to cover like the entire series. I mean,
no.
Technically, like the manga is going to be ending in April, so we could expect to see maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 more cores worth of content, depending on how many episodes they're gonna put out. That's gonna cover all of that.
At the very least, it would have to be 2 more cores, but that also depends on how many episodes is going to be in each one.
Yeah.
So it's far it's a little bit of a mystery as to how they're going to approach it.
Yeah, I mean, I still criticize the fact that they're calling this the final season because it's like it's slightly misleading, but I mean it's understandable that that they are nearing the end game of the storyline. But it seems like just what we're seeing right now is pretty much the start of the end game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it definitely feels that way with the way they're setting everything up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't really say too much about the episode preview. But yeah, I watched the episode preview, and I guess we'll have to see what happens next week. But it seems like the Survey Corps might be regarding Eren as some kind of a threat. So I was a little bit confused about that. I was like, what did he do? So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see about that because they were like pointing their guns at him. So
I mean, Eren's pretty much a changed person at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could point out that he's caused collateral damage from when he started the attack, but you could point out the same thing to Armin since he did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We'll have to see the reason as why they're going to be overly cautious over Eren at this point. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's maybe understandable just how much of a changed person Eren is at this point.
Yeah. And also, of course, it seems like Gabby's going to be attempting to carry out her mission of revenge. Let's just say that. I will say I'm a little bit concerned because I really don't want certain characters to die so soon as they've been, introduced at least after the time skip. I'm just like, I don't want them to die so soon, but I'm afraid. I feel like it's gonna happen.
You can't, it can't be helped at this point just because of how much has been established.
People are gonna be mad if who I think is gonna die is gonna die, but yeah. Because I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't know it would be this quick. But I guess we can't be too surprised by that, considering this, if this season has shown us anything, is that it's that nobody really has plot armor anymore. I mean, well, they never really did, but, it's like, this season is just much more dark and brutal, so they're much more, I feel like more people are going to die, for sure. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this episode. It was, I don't know, I almost would say it's like, I don't know if I'd say it's the best episode by far this season, but it's pretty up there.
Yeah, I think it's the best episode based on
like animation wise,
action. Yeah. I think probably we'll get into more plot progression once they finish off this battle. But it seems like the quality of the action has been sufficient so far.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I mean, we'll have to look forward to next week's episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like we got a lot to look forward to. I don't know. Like I said, a little bit concerned, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that all being said, until next Sunday, we'll see you all next time.